Hi, Sharks. I'm Haley McClain Hill, United States Air Force veteran and CEO and founder of Torch Warrior Wear. Today, I am seeking $150,000 for 10% equity in my company. Introducing Torch Warrior Wear, home of the Fearless bodysuit. I have created the first to market base layer bodysuit military women can wear in their uniforms. So Sharks, who's ready to join our Fearless Torch team and start a female uniform revolution?
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I've been looking forward to talking to you. I'm giddy, really. I'm really excited for you. I can't even imagine what your emotions are like.
Girl. From when I called you to now, let's just say it's been rock bottom to now. Let's just say that.
Rock Bottom has a trampoline, right?
Straight up. Literally, I'm like, her book could not have been more on point. Like, low, 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 low,
Yeah.
low, low.
Well, that's part of why I kind of wanted to talk to you. And I actually am like, this to me is exactly the segue that I wanted to make. Honestly, there's the book, but I would love to hear people's testimonies because that is what's powerful, really. People need to know that they're not the only ones doing the bounce back action. They're not the only ones going through it, but we need to give people their flowers while they're still here, like, and learn.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
learn from them. But yeah, so I guess if you don't mind, I would love for you to be the very first interview that I release from my series.
Of course.
I just love your testimony. I love your grit. I love everything that you're doing right now. I know there's going to be some more lessons learned once this thing airs.
Woo! Oh yeah, I'm already preparing for the punches. I'm like, all right, what did I forget?
But you got it. You got it. So for interview's sake.
Yeah. Thank you.
State your name and your business. I don't know. I don't have a format to this. Haley McClain Hill.
Ooh, Charlynda. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. This is incredible. You have been such a pivotal point in my journey. And it's so interesting because you came in at such a like random part. It was like I feel like we probably should have known each other like before all of this, but Shark Tank brought us together and I couldn't be more thankful. I mean, I've met some other Shark Tank people and just genuine people. And I love that. So I'm Haley McClain Hill. I am living in Santa Cruz, California. I'm an Air Force veteran and I am the CEO of Torch Warrior Wear.
I love it. Tell me about Torch. Look, hold on. I'm going to go get my torch. I'm going to get my
Yes.
I want people to see this.
The bodysuit.
Right?
The world.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes, you got the black one.
What's cool is it says fearless.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just uniform wear. It's not just, you're trying to empower women, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about what inspired you.
Well, it's the little things that I felt like I was missing when I put my uniform on. When I started wearing it back in college in ROTC, I would have to literally run from 8 a.m. class till 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Tuesdays in my uniform all day long, cold Penn State, whatever. And then I'd have to go to sit there at drill, just getting hammered, all the ROTC training. Then I'd have to run, sprint, change out of my uniform, get into my cheerleading uniform for practice and practice from like 6 to 9. And it was just like this constant like changing. And I just remember being like, I really don't want to put my uniform on today. Like, I was just like, I just really don't. I'm sure you felt that way, where you're just like, I just don't want to do it. It makes me feel like a blob. I look like a box. It's uncomfortable. It's scratchy. It's cold. Like, I'm like, this is not working. So after 10 years of wearing the uniform, COVID hit in 2021. And I was working like a week on, week off type of thing, just like a lot of the military was. And again, that similar feeling of when I was at home and I could be in my cozy clothes, I was just in such a more positive mood. And then I put my uniform on, it was just that same feeling. So I woke up one day, I had my bodysuit and my jeans sitting on the corner from my week off outfits. And I'm like, damn, I really wish I could put that on today. And then I was like, hold on, why can't I make that, put it all together? And then the idea just never left my mind.
Problem solving. You found a problem, you found a solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's talk about the beginning stages, because you were active duty.
Yep.
So
So
how did you approach being active duty and starting the concept? What were the initial processes that you were trying to think through or institute?
well, the first thing I did was start calling my friends and my family, Penn State alum, friends who I knew were working in the fashion industry. And I was just like, is this even possible? Like, I'm thinking of this. I've never done anything other than go into a mall and buy a shirt or buy something. I'm like, what actually goes into this? So they kind of fed me along on this line of like, actually, I think this person can help this person. So it was like a week or two of just like calling people. And then finally, my friend who works in New York City said, I have a friend whose girlfriend is a business coach. And I think you should connect with her because I think the idea is amazing, but you need somebody to help you flesh out this business. And that's what I think a lot of people struggle with. It's like the actual like plan and the strategy. Like you have the idea, but how do you actually execute? And for me, being a former athlete, former cheerleader, coaches have been pivotal in my career. And so I just reached out to her. She had a background in fashion and we hit it off immediately. And she's been my coach since the launch in 2021.
Love that. I love that. Listen to the wisdom, right? We do that a lot in the military. There's always some old chief master sergeant or that old colonel or something, and he's
Yeah,
all these ideas and wisdom, but it's like, do you listen to them? If you sit down and listen.
exactly.
So you mapped out the plan, you put your processes in place.
Mhm.
What were some of the surprises that you had when you started up? Like, what were some of the unique challenges of being in the fashion industry that you identified?
Well, first and foremost is inventory management
Mm.
and listening to your customers. Sometimes it's not the best thing to listen to your customers. So we launched, I thought, because I was in the Air Force, we were in the Air Force, I thought, let me start with the Air Force. Let me create the coyote brown color. Let me just start there. I wasn't even thinking about the different branches. I have like one or two friends in like the Navy, and I didn't even think about them. So when I put it on TikTok and I was like, I'm gonna make this undershirt for the Air Force, the amount of girls from other branches who were like, girl, you better make one for us too. I was like, okay. Well, that one color turned to 7 colors.
Okay.
And I was like, I have to do this. Everyone needs this. I need to provide this for them. But that was a mistake because
Where to everybody?
yeah, I'm like, it's just not smart to, especially with a product-based business, to have like 7 SKUs and all different styles and all this stuff. You want to start with like your one hero product, sell a million of those, and then expand. So I was stuck with a lot of inventory because Air Force, Army, Space Force, they all have the same color, but Navy has their own color, Marine has their own color, Coast Guard, and they're smaller. So I was stuck with like mounds of Coast Guard blue because not a lot of Coast Guard girls are buying it yet because I don't have the reach. And so it was just like this constant of like, do I keep up? So I would just say the biggest challenge with fashion is just like understanding what SKUs and styles to put out there first. I would recommend starting with one, being very simple, letting people fall in love with that, and then expanding and using that profit to go into different products. But I put myself in a little bit of a hole financially trying to appease everybody.
Yeah. And that's, I think, a common startup challenge too, is because there's so much potential.
Mm,
You have a great idea, there's so much potential. And
yes.
especially if you're an empathetic person, your heart is big. You're like, I want to make you happy. I want to, but
Yeah.
in your mind, you're like, that could be thousands. But then the reality is it might just be a couple hundred, you know. But
Ex-
I'm glad that you had that early on. I'm glad that you got to experience that early on.
Me,
Um,
me
so I
too.
would say, what were some of the pleasant surprises about being an entrepreneur that I guess would differ from your military experience? So you have military experience, you have sports experience, and now you have entrepreneurship. So
Mm.
what was the pleasant surprise? What did you learn becoming an entrepreneur that you're like, wow, this is kind of cool?
Oh my gosh, this is the stuff that keeps us going, right? I think the amount of love that you receive for solving somebody else's problem. The girls that reached out to me from the military from like around the world really was like where I was just like, again, I didn't think about the different branches. Then I didn't even think about women in other militaries, Canadian Air Force, German Army, Australian Navy. I always kind of bring it up because I'm like, I never would have thought I could have this expansive impact
Mm.
all around the world. And I am very much of a world traveler. I love to travel. And so it's just like, it gives me also hope where I'm like, one day I'm going to stand up a pop-up shop in Australia on the beach and I'm going to be with all those Navy girls and we're going to have the best time. And so it's just like allowing me to be so aligned with my passions of travel. And that has been super exciting. And then I would say when we won the Veteran Shark Tank 2022, I tell everybody, I'm like, I felt like I won the Super Bowl. Like
Well,
it
walk
wasn't
us through that process. Tell everyone about Veteran Shark Tank.
I
How
mean,
did you find out about Veteran Shark Tank?
oh, Charlynda, as we all do, we're just kind of on scrolling on Instagram, scrolling, and I was just like, what is this? This looks really interesting. And so I just applied. I applied. I actually forgot I applied because I think during that time I was applying to so many different grants and like, in that trying to get money. And finally, they sent me an email back like a week before I was supposed to fly to Philly from Cali. And they're like, you were chosen top 5. You need to come out and pitch. And I was like, I forgot I even applied to this. And I'm like, all right, I'm coming. So it took me like a week to like YouTube study, research, how to formulate a 5-minute pitch.
Mhm.
I've never pitched before. All I knew is that my product and my brand had almost hit $100,000 in sales at that point. And I was like, I think like, I'm like, we have something here. And I felt so confident in the brand. I'm like, I just need to share this with my veteran community, whether I win or not, I just need to go. And so we went and competed against 4 other companies. And when I say I was so surprised that I won, like I was sitting there with the other entrepreneurs and everyone was very supportive, but they called Torch and the feeling of pride in my entire community. Like I was just like, I have brought such awareness and light to my community. I genuinely felt like I won the Super Bowl for my city. Like that's how I
Yeah.
felt.
I
So
remember seeing the still picture from the day that you won, and I'm like, that smile right there. That's it. You know?
yeah, it's bigger than you. I think that's what's so pleasant about entrepreneurship. It's so much bigger than you. And on the down days, on the tough days, it's like the fuel of knowing that people are relying on you. It's just like it gives you purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. So at that point, when you went on Veteran Shark Tank, how long had you been in business?
Um, a year.
A year. So you hit 100,000 in sales within a year.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Thank
Pretty
you.
crazy. That is to be applauded for real.
I think in the world of entrepreneurship, it's like now that I'm learning from more companies and they're like, we hit 350,000 in a month. Like I'm like, holy moly, like, but you're right. You have to give yourself the flowers. You have to pat yourself in the back and be like, it is a good accomplishment. And it just shows growth and a need. So that's exciting to see that. Like the proof of concept. I'm like, all right, it's here.
It is inspiring to other people who aspire to transition into the civilian world, to other veteran entrepreneurs. I think that's a great thing about having the pitch contest, because those who are still in the uniform are like, what is life like outside of the military? What am I capable of doing? And you're
Yes.
the living proof of what you're capable of doing and the impact.
Thank you.
So,
You too, of
well,
course.
thank you.
I
Thank
see
you.
it. I'm like, us Air Force female veterans are crushing it. 2024, did you see
This
Miss America?
this has been a good year.
It's been a great year. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but it's been a great year.
Miss America even. I'm like, what is happening? Something's in the water. I like it.
I love it. Keep it going.
So did you have any other entrepreneurs in your family? Like where did the, I guess, drive for entrepreneurship come from? Was there anybody that you had in your family that had a similar path?
So my dad is an entrepreneur, but I didn't grow up with him. So that's very interesting. I think about him like, is entrepreneurship like in your blood, even if you don't, nature nurture thing, whatever.
Mhm.
But he has his own trucking company in Virginia, and we have gotten so much closer now over us now being business owners.
Mm.
But I didn't grow up with anybody who had owned their own business at all. My dad worked in software, traveled into New York City. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but my grandmother did serve 20 years in the Air Force. I mean, that's not entrepreneurship, but she was a huge drive, like, factor in my drive and like my tenacity. Like, she got out of the military as a senior master sergeant. So like, you kind of, when you have that in your family, you always
Yeah.
have that like higher level of expectations. And the same with my mom. I mean, my mom was a military brat, so everything with my work ethic was very much focused on at a young age. It was like, work hard in school, do really well in your sport,
Mhm.
whatever you do, show up 100%. And so I like to say, like, cultivating that work ethic in kids at that young age, it never goes away. And so now I feel like a big kid and working on my school projects, but it's just for money now.
It just takes a different form. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Just
great hearing that you have that military legacy in your family too, that you're kind of you're the next generation, multiple generations of military women.
yeah.
Wow, I like that.
Hell yeah.
So, like, and then also you have the drive from doing sports. So, kind of walk me through your sports journey there. You were a cheerleader in the NFL,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Oh, so again, dancer my entire life. I grew up dancing competitively, switched to cheerleading in high school for more opportunities because Pennsylvania is kind of an awkward little state. You either go to New York or New Jersey to really like get on that next level, but cheer was pretty popular. So I switched. I didn't really love it at first, and then when the opportunities for college came around as well, I tried out for the Penn State cheerleading team and went for it and made the team. So there's just this thing with dance and cheer, and I've always loved music, and just having this duality of like wearing my uniform but also being able to go and shake my butt when I want to. You know what I mean? And I think every girl needs that. Okay? We all
Right.
need
Balance.
it's balance. Exactly. So it was just so nice to be able to again run from ROTC, which was super rigid and like everything, to go to cheer practice and to be around my girls and be in the stadium and the energy and sports. It's just such a great environment. So when I graduated and commissioned into the military and I had the opportunity to cheer with the Atlanta Falcons, I just said, why not? Like, I'm like, why hang up the palms now? I'm still young. I'm cute. Let's do it. And so I tried out, and that experience changed my life. I mean, being a part of such an elite organization, it just I had to become such a professional at a young age. And that has again transferred over into everything that I do. It's like with the military, with being in the NFL, there's a certain level of expectation that there's no, messing around. So I'm very thankful and for the connections that I've built through the NFL as well.
So now that you have all these paths, you had the military, you had the NFL, you're a business owner,
Yep.
and these paths are converging now. So how are you harnessing them as an entrepreneur? Like, what is that? How's that play out in the future? Now we're approaching the subject, like the big subject of
Yeah.
taking Torch Warrior Wear to the next level. Talk me through the next phase from the present to the next few years. What's
Yep.
it like for you?
I think the word that I can sum it all up in is pure authenticity and harnessing my specific backgrounds to launch each one of my brands into complete total like niche domination.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Torch will become the it brand for military women. I think when you're building, you're like, okay, well, maybe it can be expanded to first responders or whatever. And so I kind of was thinking broad, but now I'm like only focused on military women and capturing specifically the cadet space first. So we're kind of going to capture that and build from there. So Torch is going to be everywhere when, whether that's a conference, whether that's an event, whether that is, you know, showing up for them in school. Like, we're here to support them in that stage. And so I'm really excited to build out the product line around the military woman. That's going to be captured. I have another brand. It's called Seek and Set Free, and we are doing luxury NFL cheerleading team retreats. Basically,
Wow.
taking yes, yes, it's a service based business, and again, how specific it is, and and how authentic it is to me and how much I love it. I just remember every year I had to try out to be an NFL cheerleader. It's a very stressful experience, a week long. You're there getting, pounded with new choreography. You have to show up 100%. And when you make the team, you have a retreat. And it's, some people got kicked off, some people are
At
new.
the retreat.
Well, yeah, because it's like this is a completely new team every year. So some people are gone, some people are new, some people have been there for 4 or 5 years, and so you have to blend the entire team to perform at their highest for just one season. So that team retreat was always very special to me. But I remember my coaches being so stressed out about having to plan that and then also get ready for the season. So I said, we're young. We know what these girls need and want to actually bond. Let us take that off their plate. So we're actually attending the NFL Cheer Directors Conference in Houston in March, and we're pitching to the entire directors team of the NFL to become like the go-to retreat brand for them, so we can take that off their plate. So
I'm
I'm
claiming
really
that for
excited.
you. That will happen.
Thank
I love
you.
it. But I
It's great.
mean, look at all those paths that you've walked, converging into something super successful. I'm already claiming that for you because you have the military leadership. That is a whole perspective that so many people they don't understand, like the sheer value of what is given to you as a leadership skill.
100% agree, Charlynda. I was literally talking to myself in the car today, and I was just like, I'm like, military women specifically. I mean, I'm like, we have every tool. We've been taught every tool to accomplish any goal or to tackle any challenge. Like, I genuinely do believe that. I'm like, the resiliency, the leadership skills, problem solving skills, the tenacity, the competitiveness, like all of that,
Mhm.
we are that. And we always show up and we always know how to look right and tight because we had to have our uniforms right too. I mean, it's just like there's just like
Inspection
every
ready.
right, exactly. I'm like, so I just, for every military woman listening here, I'm like, you have everything you need inside of you to literally accomplish whatever is on your heart. And I think it's the authenticity of that to know you don't have to go start a business. You don't have to go work for a fortune. You can do whatever you want and you will be successful in it. So I'm very thankful for the military.
Reach. And now that you have this platform too, that you've built organically, authentically, I've seen the videos on social media. You have all these military women who are happy to support this brand. I mean, because of what you stand for and because it is so authentic and genuine, and you want to help them do their day-to-day, duty,
Yeah.
just be comfortable. I mean, it is really great fabric. You've thought through everything from the fit to the fabric to the
Thank you.
messaging on it. Yeah, they're getting a founder who cares.
Yes.
My big question is like, Shark Tank, you did better in Shark Tank. And now the big Shark Tank.
Woo!
Wow. So
Yeah.
ABC Shark Tank, how did you find your way
Oh
to
man.
that platform?
Well, little birdie Charlynda actually helped me with this whole journey. I I applied after Veteran Shark Tank. Again saw it. I said, why not? Um, and I think again the motivation, and it's a long process, as you know. It's just like filling out the forms, making sure everything is good to go, all of the inventory management and everything that you have to do to make sure your business is like legit to even be, in front of the sharks. A lot of hard work, but my motivation was always like, if we can get on this stage and show the world who we are and what we stand for as military women, as sometimes an overlooked community, especially in the fashion world, I'm like, people are going to see it and they're going to love it. They're going to love it. And so that was my inner motivation to really just show up and be, again, very authentic. And the judge that when I it's funny because when I actually showed up and was there pitching, I wasn't nervous. I was just more focused on like, again, making my community proud. Like I was like, I just want to make my community proud. That's all I want. I don't want to go out here making military women look crazy. I want us to look freaking awesome. So it's just it was just an incredible experience, and I'm excited for everybody to watch and see how we do on the 2nd.
Love that.
Yeah.
So did it feel like you had a similar experience? Was the fear factor heightened when you were there, or do you feel like, you know what, I've pitched before, like I'm good? You feel like the experience is like way different than imagined?
It was more emotional.
Mm.
It's such high stakes. It's like going in there, your life could be changed forever. And so I had my sights on Emma Greed. She is a co-founder of Skims and Good American and those brands. And so she was a guest shark, and I was just like, oh, she'd be perfect. And so I just was like, the stakes of like being in the room of somebody at that level it was definitely just very emotional of like, okay, I have to really be 100% Haley, but also like be on it for my numbers and everything. So it was just like, and my strengths are, I'm not gonna lie, I'm more marketing based. Like I'm not a numbers girl. So that part of it too is just like, don't mess it up. But yeah, I mean, it'll be fun for everyone to see kind of how it all turns out, because it was
Yeah.
very unexpected, very unexpected. So
Well, how would you, if you were to advise a person who wanted to go on Shark Tank and they wanted to do the best that they could there, how would you advise them to prepare? Like if you could just say top 3 things you need to really focus on are.
you need to start reaching out to people who have done this before. So I reached out to Charlynda immediately. It's just, again, like taking mental inventory on the people around you who have succeeded in this space.
Mhm.
That's number one. Number two, it is come with a brand with a story and an impact. Like that's really making an impact. I didn't walk in with $1 million in sales. I walked in with closer to 200-ish, 250,000 or whatever. So it's not like you have to be the biggest brand, but you have to come in with the biggest impact. And I think that's really what you want to focus on. And the last thing I would say is you have to perform. This is a performance. It is not the judge's responsibility to be interested in you, because they have seen a million other people before you. So you need to come in there and, like I had to figure out how to be a performer. I had to
Mm,
entertain. I needed to entertain and grab their attention. And of course, my producers were helping me kind of figure it out, but I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this to stand out, because it really is the name of the game of who's the most entertaining.
yep.
So
It's TV. It is TV. But
it
also,
is.
top of mind. Like when you walk away that day, you want them to be thinking like, I can't stop thinking about Torch Warrior Wear and Haley's journey and her
Mhm.
service and everything that motivated them
Exactly.
to hear your story and remember you. So yeah, you have to do something memorable. You have to say something that sticks with them.
Exactly.
That and you have a powerful story. You have a powerful journey. And I'm blessed. I feel abundantly blessed that your life journey even had a segue to me. I mean, I
You stop it. You've been
it's
amazing.
very reflective this point in life when you're trying to figure out what is the purpose? What do you do now?
Yeah.
And it makes me feel good to be useful to someone like you who's getting started. You have the world at your feet right now. I mean, I'm hearing so many great things that are about to happen in the next couple of years. And you're not supposed to live this life and hoard all the knowledge and wisdom and experiences to yourself. You're supposed to pass that along to someone else. So it's just as much a reward to hear about what you're doing, to see that, Air Force girls are still rocking it out. I mean,
We still are, and we are looking
man,
after each other, and that's the beauty. Women like you and women sticking up for each other and rooting for each other and cheering each other on. I mean, it's so powerful, and I feel very grateful that we are sisters and just like
yeah.
in entrepreneurship and in the military. It's beautiful.
And even as recently, right? We were in Vegas.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I was cheesing from ear to ear when you met Deshauna Barber. I was like, she is just tell her everything. Give it to
I
her.
was I was
Tell
dying.
everybody about meeting Deshauna. Because I too, I was giddy. I have to say, I wanted to meet her for the longest time. But for you,
Yes.
what was that like?
Oh my gosh, she's so living in her truth and in her empower, like she's just, it's so empowering to watch a woman create their life through their through their passions. And we did dinner after and just getting to know her on like a more personal level.
Mm.
She's so genuine. And so I think also this is a testament too of like, I've had this conversation with a lot of my friends. I'm like, when you're happy with yourself and when you're doing what you love, like you just come across as a genuine person and an authentic person. And there's nothing for you to feel sad. It's not that you're not gonna have bad days, but it's like you're living so much in your truth and in your power. It empowers other people to do the same. So that's why it's just nice to be around someone because I'm like, wow, if you can do it, I can definitely do it too. And so that's just a really cool thing too. So it's important to share your stories of your successes too, and not for other women to feel any type of way, but it's like to show them like, well, you can do it too. Like you can. I know every woman that I met, I'm like, you have everything you need to be successful. So
Yeah.
just go for it.
It's just the moment that you truly see and understand it and internalize that. That's
Yes,
when the light bulb comes on. It's like people might be telling you all the time, but until you believe it, yeah.
exactly.
So I know my podcast is Rock Bottom Has a Trampoline. It's about bouncing back from the rock bottom. And yeah, I don't want to focus on bad stuff, but like, what would you say on your journey was the rock bottom that you bounced back from? Like, what is a rock bottom that you can say you've bounced back from being an entrepreneur?
I called you a couple weeks ago, Charlynda, and I was having my rock bottom moment. I was about to hop on a plane to Oregon, and I found out that a pretty big opportunity, fell through, and I didn't plan accordingly financially. And this is just the real of it, right? Like business is about making money and being able to keep that money and manage that money.
Mhm.
And you could be bringing in $100,000 in revenue, but what are you taking home? Are you taking care of yourself? And that was the moment when I realized that it had been years, me building this brand, of me genuinely not being more conscious of my cash flow and my finances. And I got to a point where I was like, I don't know if I can get to this next month. I just don't know if I can. And it wasn't like, you know, I was gonna be on the streets, but I mean it was like
It was rough, right?
it was really tough, yeah, and it's, also, I think, with military women too, right? Or in general with women, this feeling of failure, and with me having all this success in the background, like, you know, being able to go into the military, being an officer, being on the cheer team, I haven't really felt failure like that, and financial failure is really tough, and so I was really down on myself, and I didn't I and again, for anybody who really gets to this point, the first thing I did, I phoned a friend. I phoned Charlynda. I was like, "I need somebody who has been in my shoes," who she literally wrote the book, so I was like, "Well, okay, this is a no-brainer," but call that person, and you can't sit and let it just, like, completely eat you away for days and days and days. So I had to talk it through. We had a great conversation. You connected me with some other people to have just more thought-provoking conversations to get me moving in this direction of, of off of that really bottom feeling and building out a plan to solve this problem. And I'm happy to say that we are on the other side. We are on the other side. And um I know other entrepreneurs have been in this, this boat before, and it's a great lesson to learn though. I am now very much more conscious of my finances, of what I'm investing, um, where I am, how I am saving my money, and just being more conscious. And I learned so many amazing lessons from it. So for anyone who's been at that bottom, I guess I would just say is to really lean on that friend who can get you out of that, and then also reflect on that lesson that it
Yeah,
taught.
you're not alone. That's the one thing that I hope was the takeaway. Is like you're not alone in it, but also the bounce back's about to be beautiful. I mean, I hate saying that when I hear about rock bottom moments, I'm like, this bounce back's about to be great. It's gonna be so good. And
Wow.
it's like I shouldn't be smiling because they're just like they're having a moment, but I'm like, it'll be good. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because it takes a lot, to push past those initial emotions and say, I need to make a plan. I need to make a plan.
Yes.
That was very wise of you. Even however many years you've been in business, there was some wisdom that you executed to say, I need to reach out, find my tribe, get through this and,
Yeah.
and move forward and move forward.
Yes.
You're amazing, Haley.
Thank you. You are too.
I'm going to leave all your information for people to continue to follow you on all the social media. I must say I'm a fan of the TikTok. I love seeing the posts on there, and your reels are really great too. But yeah, all the best to you, Haley. Everybody's going to be wearing Torch. I just see it. I know.
Everybody's wearing Torch. I love it.
Rocking Torch.
The new campaign. Thank you so much, Charlynda. I really appreciate you and your wisdom and your guidance and your taking the time. I know we talked about the book experience, but really doing it for us and just being a genuine kind person to military women. So thank you.
I'm here for you, sis. Look, one team, one fight. Isn't that what we say?
Exactly.
All right. Well, I know you got the world to conquer. Thank you for your time. I'm
Niche
glad for everybody
domination.
tuning in to the world domination plans of Haley McClain Hill.